Hello there, I'm Warren Buffett, and if you're listening to this, there's a good chance you're past 60, or maybe you're just thinking about what life after 60 might look like. Either way, I'm glad you're here. A lot of people ask me, Warren, what would you do differently if you were starting over at my age? If I'm 60, 70, or even 80, is it too late to build wealth, to live a meaningful life, or to make a difference? Well, let me tell you the truth. It's never too late. Not for wealth, not for happiness, not for purpose. In fact, many of the best decisions I ever made in investing and in life came after most people would have considered me past my prime. You see, people think money and age follow the same rules, that somehow, once you reach a certain birthday, the opportunities vanish. But that's simply not true. So today I want to talk to you directly, as if we're sitting together in my office in Omaha, sipping a Coke, just having a conversation. I'll share what I've learned in over 9 decades on this planet, not just about money, but about life, health, relationships, and what truly matters after 60. I won't sugarcoat it, but I also won't complicate it. My style has always been simple, plain talk, simple truth, and habits anyone can apply. And if you stick with me through this conversation, I promise you'll walk away with something far more valuable than a stock tip. You'll walk away with a framework for living the rest of your life wisely and, yes, richly too. Let's get started. The truth about money after 60. The first thing I want to address is money, because let's be honest, once you hit 60, 70, or 80, money feels different. For most people, the big earning years are behind them. You're no longer trying to climb the corporate ladder or build a startup from scratch. And that can be scary. I've met many people who look at their retirement accounts and feel a deep sense of regret. They say, Warren, I should have saved more. I should have started earlier. I should have bought Berkshire stock when it was affordable. I understand that regret. But here's the thing. Money at 60 isn't just about growing. It's about protecting. My number one rule has always been this. Rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1. That rule becomes even more important after 60. Because when you're 25, you have decades to recover from mistakes. When you're 65, the timeline looks different. You can't afford to gamble or chase hot tips. Preservation matters more than speculation. Think of it like this. Imagine you've spent your life planting a garden. At 60, it's not about planting brand new trees that take 50 years to bear fruit. It's about tending the ones you already have, protecting them from storms, and enjoying the shade they provide. That doesn't mean growth is impossible. It just means growth has to be steady, safe, and realistic. At this stage, you want your money working for you, not you working for your money. And let me give you a little reassurance. Even if you don't have millions in the bank, you're not out of the game. Small, smart decisions now can still compound in meaningful ways. Invest in yourself even now. Now you might be thinking, Warren, I'm over 60. Isn't it too late to invest in myself? Absolutely not. In fact, investing in yourself might be the single most valuable investment you can make at this stage of life. I've always said the best investment you can make is in yourself. That's true at 20 and it's true at 80. Why? Because unlike stocks or bonds, nobody can tax away your knowledge, your skills, or your wisdom. Even after 60, you can still learn new things. You can still sharpen your mind. Read every day. I've spent about 80% of my day reading for as long as I can remember. Books, reports, newspapers, anything that expands my mind. Now, you might not want to read financial reports all day like I do, but pick something you love. History, philosophy, biographies, even fiction. Keep your mind active because mental compounding is just as powerful as financial compounding. And don't underestimate small skills. Learn how to use new technology, even if it feels intimidating. Pick up a hobby that challenges your brain, chess, bridge, even learning a new language. Every time you exercise your mind, you're keeping yourself sharp, and that pays dividends in independence and joy. Remember, retirement doesn't mean retreat. It can mean reinvestment in yourself, relationships, and reputation. Let's shift gears for a moment, because after 60, something else becomes more important than money: relationships. I've said before, you can't buy love. It doesn't matter how many zeros are in your bank account. If the people around you don't care for you, if you don't have family or friends who love you, then you're not rich. At my age, I can tell you this with absolute certainty. The measure of your success isn't the size of your portfolio. It's the number of people who genuinely love you when you're old and gray. And here's the beauty of it. It's never too late to repair or deepen relationships. If you're 60 or 70 and you feel lonely, you still have time. Reach out to that old friend. Call your kids or your grandkids. Mend fences. Say the words you've been holding back. Reputation matters too. I've told business students for years, it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. That lesson doesn't expire when you turn 60. In fact, it becomes even more important because your legacy is being written every day. So ask yourself, how do I want to be remembered? As someone who hoarded money but ignored people, or as someone who left behind love, kindness, and integrity? Let me stop here for just a moment. If this conversation is resonating with you, if you feel like these lessons matter, I'd ask you to do something simple. Tap that like button and subscribe to this channel. Think of it as a way to invest in your own learning, just like setting aside savings. It helps you, and it helps us keep bringing you content that makes a difference. Health is your true wealth. Now, I'll admit something here. I've never been the poster child for a healthy diet. I love Coca-Cola, burgers, and ice cream. People joke that I eat like a 6-year-old, and they're not wrong. But even I know the truth. Health is your true wealth. You only get one body, one engine, like a car. If you bought a car today and knew it had to last you your entire lifetime, how would you treat it? You'd change the oil regularly. You'd avoid reckless driving. You'd take care of it. Yet so many people treat their bodies worse than they treat their cars. They push it to the limit. They ignore the warning signs, and then they wonder why it breaks down in their 60s and 70s. If you're over 60, I want to tell you something. It's not too late to care for your body. No, you can't undo all the damage overnight. But small, consistent changes make a world of difference. Take walks, eat a little better, get regular checkups, stretch, meditate, laugh. These things compound just like money. You may not notice the payoff tomorrow, but in 5 or 10 years, you'll be glad you did. Your money won't matter if you don't have the health to enjoy it. Simple investing rules for seniors. Now let's get practical again. If you're over 60, your investing strategy should look different than someone who's 30. You don't need to swing for the fences. You don't need to double your money overnight. You need safety, stability, and enough growth to outpace inflation. For most people, the best strategy is the simplest: low-cost index funds. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Most investors are better off just buying an S&P 500 index fund and holding it for the long haul. Why? Because it gives you exposure to the best businesses in America without the need to pick individual winners. It's diversified, it's low cost, and it works. Now, some people ask, what about individual stocks? Well, if you understand a business deeply, if you can explain what it does and why it will thrive for decades, then by all means, invest in it. But if you can't, don't. Stick with simplicity. And most importantly, avoid speculation. At 60, 70, or 80, the last thing you want is to lose half your savings chasing a fad. Remember, never lose money. Now let's talk about something even more valuable than money: time. The gift of time. When you're in your 20s or 30s, you think you have unlimited time. You can waste a decade and it doesn't feel like much. But when you're 60 or 70, time suddenly looks different. You can see the horizon more clearly. Here's the good news. Just because time feels shorter doesn't mean it's less valuable. In fact, I'd argue it's more valuable. Why? Because you've got experience, wisdom, and perspective now. You know what matters and what doesn't. I'll share something personal. Even in my 90s, I still get up every morning excited to work, to read, to learn. I don't think of my life as winding down. I think of it as compounding all those decades of experience rolling together into something bigger. You can do the same. Use your 60s, 70s, and even 80s as a time to focus on what truly matters to you, whether it's family, learning, giving back, or simply enjoying the little things. Treat your time as your most precious currency. And here's a tip: just like money, budget your time. Don't waste it on people who drain you or activities that don't add joy or meaning. Be intentional. Leaving a legacy. Now let's talk about legacy. At some point after 60, everyone starts thinking about what they'll leave behind. Not just money, but reputation, memories, values. For me, legacy has always been about more than wealth. I pledged to give away nearly all of my fortune to charity because, as I've said before, I want to give my kids enough that they can do anything, but not so much that they can do nothing. But legacy isn't just about billions of dollars. It's about what people remember when you're gone. Did you treat people with kindness? Did you raise your family with love? Did you contribute something meaningful, no matter how small? Here's a simple exercise. Imagine your own funeral. What do you want people to say about you? That you had a big bank account, or that you were generous, wise, and loving? It's never too late to shape your legacy. Every conversation, every act of kindness, every choice you make in your 60s and 70s writes the story people will remember. Happiness and success redefined. When I talk to young people, they often ask me how to get rich. But when I talk to older people, they ask how to be happy. And the answer is the same. Focus on what you can control, not on what you can't. I measure success by one thing, and it's not money. It's how many people love me. That's it. That's the scoreboard that matters. Money can buy you a house, but not a home. It can buy you medicine, but not health. It can buy you entertainment, but not joy. After 60, happiness often comes from the simple things: spending time with family, enjoying a good meal, laughing with friends, helping someone else. So don't chase someone else's definition of success. Define your own. Ask yourself, what makes me feel alive? What brings me peace? What do I want these years to look like? Practical steps after 60. Now let me give you some very practical steps. These are things I recommend you think about if you're 60 or older. 1. Simplify your finances. Don't complicate your life with dozens of accounts, risky investments, or unnecessary debt. Keep things simple and clear. 2. Build a cushion. Make sure you have emergency funds. Not everything needs to be invested. Liquidity cash you can use when you need it is comforting and practical. 3. Focus on income, not speculation. At this stage, income-producing assets like dividend stocks, bonds, or rental properties are safer than chasing high-growth, high-risk investments. 4. Protect your family. Make sure your estate plans are in order. Wills, trusts, beneficiaries take care of these things now, so your loved ones aren't left with confusion or conflict. 5. Keep learning. Don't retire from your mind. Stay curious. Read, study, explore. Remember, compounding works for wisdom too. 6. Give back. You don't have to give billions. Give your time, your attention, your knowledge. Volunteer, mentor, share. These things often matter more than money. These may sound simple, but they're powerful. Don't underestimate the impact of small, steady steps, the danger of fear and greed. I want to talk about something emotional now, because investing and life are not just about numbers, they're about emotions. Fear and greed are the two strongest forces in finance, and they don't go away when you hit 60. If anything, they get louder. Fear whispers, "What if I don't have enough? What if I outlive my savings?" Greed whispers, "Maybe I can double my money quickly. Maybe I should chase this hot stock or new coin." Both voices can lead you astray. The truth is, you don't need to win big at this stage. You just need to avoid losing big. That's why I always come back to my rules. Never lose money. Never forget the first rule. Calm beats panic. Patience beats excitement. Discipline beats desire. If you can manage your emotions, if you can stay steady when others are panicking and humble when others are greedy, you'll be fine. Giving back. The joy of generosity. I want to return to generosity for a moment because it's something that brings joy, no matter how old you are. I've pledged to give away most of my wealth, but let me tell you something. The act of giving has given me more joy than the act of earning ever did, and you don't need billions to feel this joy. Give your time to a grandchild who needs guidance. Give your wisdom to a young entrepreneur. Give a meal to someone in need. Generosity compounds too. One small act of kindness can ripple out in ways you'll never fully see. If you're 60 or 70, you might think your best years are behind you, but what if your best years are actually the ones where you give the most? Humility and perspective. One last point in this section: humility. When you've lived 60 or 70 years, it's easy to feel like you've seen it all, but humility keeps you open. Humility reminds you that the world is always changing and that you can still learn. I've spent my entire life in Omaha, living in the same house I bought in the 1950s. I don't need yachts or mansions. I've always believed that money doesn't change how you live. It just magnifies who you already are. So whether you're wealthy or modest, remember this: what matters is not showing off, but showing up for your family, your friends, your community. If you're finding these lessons meaningful, let me invite you again, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and share your own thoughts in the comments. I'd love to know what wisdom you've gained after 60. Remember, this is a community. We learn from each other. So, if you're 60 or older, let me leave you with this. Your best years aren't behind you, they're right in front.